January 8th. I will ask our clerk to do roll call, please.
Okay, Mayor Nero.
Here.
Clerk Simsky, here. Trustee Barker, absent. Trustee Guzzo.
Here.
Trustee Little.
Here.
Trustee Pirelli.
Here.
Trustee Plowman.
Here.
Trustee Scales.
Here.
Attorney Zemanek.
Here.
Village Manager Gunther.
Here.
And Assistant Village Manager Parker.
Here.
Okay, if everybody could please join me in the Pledge of Allegiance. I pledge allegiance to the flag of the United States of America and to the republic for which it stands, one nation, under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all. I don't believe we have any requests for open forum, so I will go right into our reports. We got a big night tonight. A couple things from myself. Special Olympics presentation. I'd like to invite up our Deputy Chief Mike Weibler to talk about our big 2025 donations from a lot of his efforts and many others on the police department. Just a quick FYI, with Westmont's generosity has once again broken records, and I don't want to take the thunder from them, but I got to say a couple things. A year after receiving the Flame of Hope Award, the community raised an incredible almost $61,000 for the Special Olympics cause. That's pretty good. Thank you to everybody for contributing to this success. The details on the 2026 fundraising events will soon be shared, and Mike's going to have to get a bigger office for all these big checks. I don't know where you're going to put them.
I'm only keeping the last 2 years.
They can cycle
They
through.
keep getting bigger and bigger.
All right, well, sir, I'll have at it. Tell us a
Very
little bit
good.
more.
I appreciate it. Thank you, Mr. Mayor, Village Board. So just real quick, last year we thought we were hot stuff because we won this little thing called the Flame of Hope Award because of $57,000 that we raised. This year we said, poo-poo with that, we're going to show you that not only did we get this award, but we were going to blast it and blow it out of the park again. And this year, just like the mayor had said, $60,000 raised for Special Olympics, which is a huge feat for our entire village. And there are so many people that I want to thank, including all the business owners that sponsored us throughout the year. The Citizens Police Academy, with who I have a lot of members here tonight, supporting us with all of our events, shred events, coming out and making sure that 60,000 mark was attainable. With me here also I have Sergeant Radke, who is going to be my partner this year moving forward, along with Natalie Mahalik, who couldn't be here tonight. Listen, the last 10 years that I've been doing Special Olympics, this has been absolutely amazing. We've gone from $5,000 raised to 60 and our highest this year. So a great thank you to the entire village, to all of the staff and helpers that have been out there with me. And with that, I would like to bring up one of our beneficiaries of this money, Ambassador of Special Olympics, Aaron Compton.
Hi, my name is Aaron Compton. I am 21 years old, and I'm taking classes at College of DuPage. Thank you so much for this generous donation. It means the world to people like me. Special Olympics is a trailblazer for all people to make a difference in this world. This year, I was appointed by the governor to be the chair of the State Rehabilitation Council. My leadership training that I got through Special Olympics helps me help other people with disabilities get jobs. So, just like that, your donations turned into leadership, opportunities, and options. We are in a different place than we were last year. In this new place, the R word gets used a lot. Our education system and healthcare are being dismantled. People with disabilities are in the dark area. Becky and I stand before you as examples of the possibilities, successes, and hope that our village of Westmont has created. With your support, we can fight to save what we have for the children growing up now. Thank you for all of the support now and in the future. Thank you.
Excellent. And she mentioned in her speech there, Becky Kavanaugh, who is also here. She is also an athlete who is a beneficiary. And both of these two young ladies often are seen at our Duncan events and out there raising money with us. So with that, you want to say something real quick?
Oh yeah.
All right, go for it.
Hi, my name is Becky Kavanaugh, and I do Special Olympics, gymnastics, horseback riding, and swimming. But my favorite thing is gymnastics. Ever since when we were little, me and Aaron did gymnastics. It's a lot of fun, but I am glad to be here for this amazing check. I'm super excited. Thank you.
Very good. Like I said, I appreciate both you and Aaron for coming out to our events and making sure that we can raise as much money as possible for you guys. So with that, if I can get the village board and all my volunteers to come out and take a picture with the check.
Oh yeah.
Come on. Excellent.
That's a heavy check this year.
Look at that one.
Yeah. That's fantastic. Guys, that's heavy. I think we're pretty close. We're ready. All right. Let's see. I'm staying on the airways. I'm going to take yours first. No, you go. All right. All right, everybody ready? Aaron, look up. Okay, I got mine. All set. All right, thank you. All right. Thank you, great job.
I like gymnastics.
Yeah. Swimming?
Cuties.
It's really sad. That's sad. That's so sweet.
Okay. I think that's it from Deputy Chief. Okay, we're going to go out of turn here. I know that was exciting news and something that the entire village is very, very proud of, but I'm going to pass it over to Trustee Linda Little to share some not so good news, but also highlight someone that was very, very important to this village. Been here a lot longer than I have been, but someone that we're real proud of and happy to have gotten to know him. But Linda, Trustee
Thank you,
Little,
Mayor.
please take over.
The day after Christmas, Westmont lost a true village icon. Mrs. Lillian Archibald respectfully captioned, "The cake lady passed peacefully in her home." Lillian was quite well known in town for her delicious and beautifully decorated cakes celebrating weddings, christenings, birthdays, all the holidays, and even village events. Even after closing the Village Bakery in Clarendon Hills, Mrs. Archibald continued to bake for close friends, family, and valued customers. Our very own trustee Guzzo commissioned her to bake her wedding cake. A memorial visitation will be held this coming Tuesday, January 13th, from 4 to 8 p.m. at Capetta's West Suburban Funeral Home at 39 North Cass Avenue. The public is invited to attend. That's it. Thank you, Mayor.
Thank you, Trustee Little, and our thoughts are with the family, and condolences to everybody that known the wonderful lady, and appreciate you sharing that. So we'll get back to our regular scheduled program here, and next item I have, last item, is a good presentation from our consultant we selected, CP2. We'd like to have them come on up and give us a little update on the strategic plan that they've been helping us with, and appreciate them coming, but I will ask maybe Patty McClarsky to tee it off for us, please.
So I have Corey Porras-Plash here. She is CP2 consultant, and she has done the start of our strategic planning and wants to give you a brief overview on where she's at this point. Corey?
And with that, I will go ahead and jump in. That was what I was hoping to see. Okay, so I want to first of all thank you for allowing me to be here to present tonight. I want to give you a little bit of an explanation of how I want you to view this tonight. There are 80 slides here. The good news is we are not going to go through 80 slides bullet point by bullet point. So, right, big sigh of relief. But what I do want to do, though, is give it to you in a format that's very digestible. So what I'm going to do tonight is I'm going to go through, I'm going to give you some of the highlights. This is what I do for a living. I present this all the time. I want to bring your attention to things I think you should really take note of, but I would also encourage you, there will be more information that you will get. There's a couple of open response questions that we have. I will give you the text from that. I will also give you a full narrative focus group report. However, if you only have time to review one thing, I want to give it to you in a way that's digestible, and this is what I would encourage you to look at. So that's kind of the overview of the way to kind of look at this information. With that, let's go ahead and get started real quick. Maybe, there we go. A little bit about me, 10 years in local government. I actually started my career as a 911 dispatcher. I will let you guys read all of that at your leisure, but I love local government. I see cinder block walls and still get really excited, so it's a sickness. Let's talk a little bit about who we heard from. 91% identified themselves as a resident of Westmont. We also had a fair amount who identified they worked in Westmont or were a business owner. 567 total responses. This is not a statistically valid survey. What does that mean? It means that we did not go and do a random sample. Had we, though, we would have looked to get between 400 and 450 responses. So I used to work for Polko National Research Center. That is the company that does resident satisfaction surveys for local government. They've got the largest database of resident satisfaction surveys. They look for 400 to 450. So that is really what we're kind of looking for. So I'm happy with 567. Women always do more than men, not sure why, but the women always have it. This is one of the things that I thought was rather interesting. The survey respondents actually skew a little bit younger than what I normally see, which is interesting to me. And it was actually also very good because when we're looking at the results then, we have people who are hopefully going to be in the community for a while. And I'd like to note that we have 1% that were 18 to 24, and that is also not as common, but very welcome. Go ahead and just kind of buzz through these real quick. I would ask you again to go ahead and look at these at your convenience. And again, we kind of divided up so you could see where these came from. We only have 3% that identified that they lived outside of the village limits. What do you like best? Location and peaceful community were some of the things that came up, as was affordability. You're going to be seeing these come up as I go through. So word clouds are very interesting, sometimes not because they show us the information, but because sometimes they don't really show us a whole lot. What do you like best? We're going to be talking a little bit more about things like fire and police and safety as well. Those are some things that are going to be coming up as I continue to go through the data. How important are these things? Look at that. There's public safety and affordability right there. Schools, why do I ask about schools? You're not responsible for schools, because if I don't ask about them, we're going to be told anyway, and it's just a way to collect the data so that it's a little bit more manageable and it's not kind of clouding up all of the free text responses. All this is the same question. We're just kind of taking it one more step down. And if you can see with this, public safety is at 97%. I want to point that out because this is almost always the top rated response. And it makes sense. If you're safe, you're happy in your community, it is not at all a negative. That is extremely common. I'll let you go ahead and go through the rest of that at your convenience. These are things, nothing that was unusual to me here. But again, kind of go through this at your convenience. How satisfied are you? I'm very happy with public services, particularly public safety. And that came out in the focus groups as well, which I'll go through here in just a minute. Drinking water, 50% said very satisfied. I am going to tell you that when we're talking about Northern Illinois, I do not see that quite as often. So big old pat on the back, Westmont. Quality of life, how satisfied are you? To see figures here of 90%, very high. So again, go ahead and give yourselves a pat on the back for that. That is higher than what I normally see. The rest of these also high, but that one in particular is a little bit unusual, and that's why I want to pull it out. Unusual in a very good way, obviously. Somewhat dissatisfied and dissatisfied. This is one that as we're going through and preparing for our strategic planning session, I would spend a little bit of time on this slide in particular. This can help us to identify some strategic issues. When we're thinking about strategic issues, we want to look at it two different ways. First of all, what are some of the things we want to make sure that we maintain? Strategic issues don't need to always be something that has to be improved, right? It can be something we're doing well. We want to make sure that we continue to do well. But it can also be opportunities to do things differently, to look at things in another way. So this would be one of those that I would go ahead and look at. Things about for the future of Westmont, some of the things that are most important, and again, that sense of safety and security. Again, makes sense, and this is very consistent with other communities. Again, this is just kind of taking a couple different slices at that data. What are the three most important things? This was that free text response. You're going to see downtown, affordable, and taxes in there. And that's very reflective of what you're going to see in the free text data I send you later. How important are the following? Again, that safe community. Again, very consistent, but that's why it tends to come up. Also a good place to raise a family. The fact that we were a little bit younger with the demographics on who answered it. This is a little higher than I normally see, but also goes in very nicely with the demographic data that I saw. So part of the things that I look for is to see if the data makes sense, and the data is making sense to me in a lot of different ways with this. Those affordable village services as well. Again, we've got an affordability theme that's going through this. Again, just kind of taking that one more slice down. When you look at this now, that safe community is still high, but affordable village services goes up a little bit. Want to go ahead and look at this. Actually, this one, go ahead and just look at your leisure. Again, we're talking about schools as part of the community. I want to talk about this one for a second. Village of Westmont has a good reputation. Village is effective at communicating with residents, and Village is fiscally responsible with its resources. I'm seeing changes in data with the communities that I'm working with. What I would suggest is that it is kind of reflective of the times that we are living in. What we saw after 2020 was the amount of trust that we have in local government is starting to decline. I don't want to in any way suggest that it is not something that we don't want to pay attention to, but I want to give you some context for that. So what I would say is this is something certainly that I would look at, I would really consider as we go into that strategic planning session, but I don't want you guys to feel like this is something where Westmont is kind of standing on its own. I'm seeing these results pretty consistently right now, and I think it's just because of the times that we are living in at this point. Does that make sense? Okay. How do you prefer to get your information? I'm going to go ahead and let you read that. And again, I will go ahead and send this to you, but what you're seeing, sometimes the word cloud is instructive because it really isn't telling you anything. There's no major themes that come out. And with this, there's a lot of different information. I would recommend that you do read it when people take the time to respond. I do also always recommend that you do that, but there wasn't necessarily any huge themes that were coming out. Again, we do kind of have that downtown theme that's coming out, and we'll see that more when we get into the focus groups. Any questions about that? I'm going to keep right on going then. Internal stakeholder results, we had 67 total responses. I'm going to buzz through some of this other than to say you would not think that people who are delivering the services always say that their services are good or excellent, but sometimes you get surprised. So the fact that we have 84% saying that the services are good or excellent is actually a very good thing. I don't always see those results. What village services do you believe need improvement? Some of the things that you're seeing here are, we're going to go ahead and come with later. Some of this actually has to do with more with staffing. Some of the things that the village does really well, again, events is big old letters there, and we're going to be talking about events a little bit more as we go as well. Quality of life, I'll go ahead and let you look at. Positive impact, downtown. Again, that's going to be something we're going to be talking about as we talk about the focus group results. How much of a priority? Public safety, infrastructure, financial sustainability. This is always interesting because it is from the people who have that subject matter expertise. So not uncommon when I'm looking at that internal survey, but always one of the things when we're talking about the people who have that subject matter expertise. Any questions? Let me pause here real quick. I know I'm kind of going rapid fire, but again, I'm hoping that all of you will take a look at this later as well. Again, just kind of one more slice down with that data. What things should not be a priority? Nothing there that to me seems to be overly unusual. Westmont operates with openness and transparency. That is not as high as I would like to see it. It's not bad, but it's probably about middle. Westmont does a good job of communicating with residents. That I would say is more probably upper third. Westmont is open to new ideas and ways of doing things. That is an opportunity where maybe to start moving into strongly agree may be an opportunity to kind of boost that a little bit. I would recommend Westmont as a place to live. Again, we've got 74% who strongly or somewhat agree. Next 3 questions are kind of a temperature check on retention. So I want to go through these real quick. I'm likely to stay with Westmont for another year. We have got 86% that somewhat or strongly agree. Big old sigh of relief, right? So does not mean that's not something we don't want to pay attention to, but we don't have a looming crisis when it comes to retention. I would apply to this position again. We've got 86% that say, yeah, I would apply to this position again. Again, when we look at that, that gives us a pretty good temperature check that Westmont has gotten more talking about culture, that they kind of knew what they were getting into, that they would go ahead and do this again. Again, it's a nice temperature check for us. And then I would recommend working at Westmont to friends. You like your friends, you want to keep them. So you're not going to recommend working someplace that they aren't going to like to do. So the fact that we've got 73% somewhat or strongly agree with that, those are some nice strong numbers as well. Any questions about those 3? Because those are probably, out of all of this, those are probably the best indicators we have around health. All right, I'm going to keep on going. Any additional information? Again, I'm going to go ahead and let you look at that at your leisure. Any questions about the rapid fire stuff I just said your way?
Was that all 80 some slides? It was quick.
No, we got focus groups too, my friend. We're not quite done yet.
I was going to say, wow.
No, I told you
fast.
I'm gonna rapid fire through this, but, so focus groups, we're gonna go through again real fast. So focus groups, I went through, I did 6 focus groups. Who did we hear from? We heard from, we talked to employees, we talked to residents, we talked to businesses, high school students, which is always one of my favorites. We also talked to nonprofits. So I will let you read this at your leisure, but we always ask the same questions of all of the focus groups, except the high school ones. We abbreviated a little bit just for time. What I want to show you here, if you see those numbers in the parentheses, what it indicates is how many of the focus groups I heard these themes through, because that's always one of the questions, right? Totally different focus groups, how often are these things coming up? So it gives you a way to kind of interpret this information later. So some of the things they value most: small town feel, community events, parks and green space, housing diversity and affordability, central location and regional access. There is a lot more data in the next few slides kind of breaking that down. Again, I want to give you a chance. This is a more digestible format. There is a narrative report as well, but this just kind of gives you an idea what some of those things were. So these are some of the things that are valued most: that downtown vibrancy, local government and schools. What are some of the challenges then? The railroad tracks, I'm sure shocking to all of you, right? Didn't come up to any of you. None of you saw me that coming. Traffic congestion, infrastructure constraints, parking, walkability, communication, and then community identity and cohesion concerns. I do want to take just a second to talk about communication. Communication is tough. I have come to believe that we are wired for something like a newspaper. There is one source of information, everybody knows where it is, and we're getting all of it through that. The problem is that now we are getting things in so many different ways that communication, I will tell you, is a challenge for every single community that I go to, and it always comes up in focus groups. That does not mean that it is not something that we should not be talking about and always trying to work on, but it is just, I believe, because of where we live now and the nature of the environment, it's just always a challenge. So again, I will let you kind of go through and look at the bullet points on this at your leisure, but those are some of the top things that we were looking at. What are the things that participants said that they wanted to change? Infrastructure connectivity, business processing and permitting, downtown vitality and improvement, again, that communication, housing balances, and then some amenities for some broader age groups. Again, we've got some bullet points to really kind of go through there at your leisure that you will be able to see. The village has already got this, so they can send it out to you immediately. You can actually even look at this tonight. Some of the questions to think about is that they brought up was, what is the identity going to be in 10 to 15 years? What is the focus for different stages of life, and is Westmont able to meet that? How to preserve that small town character while also having growth. There's that tension there, right? How to show the clear competitive advantage versus neighboring communities, and then that unified identity across divisions. Some investment opportunities, things like infrastructure, economic development, communication, downtown development, again, that community cohesion. Heard a lot about the train tracks, that it not only is a physical barrier, but it also serves to really kind of emotionally kind of separate the community as well. And then staffing and service capacity. And that did not just come out of the employee group, but it was also recognized as we want to make sure that there is enough staffing to be able to meet the challenges today and in the future. So some universal themes, key insights, I'll let you guys look at that for your future. So my last question that I asked them is, give me 2 priorities. So it's one thing if you have a whole bunch of things, but now I'm going to ask you to actually give me just 2. So 2 priorities of some things that you would like to see Westmont devote efforts and resources to, and 1 thing that should be left alone because it's going well. The top 3 things, and you can see all of them, but the top 3 things are highlighted in yellow. There's some of the general themes for things like economic development. One of the top things that came out of this with 10 was the commercial district focus / revitalization of downtown. Infrastructure came up, services came up. Again, transportation and mobility, some of the top things that came up: parking and parking downtown, traffic flow, HR, and then some miscellaneous things. Those were all the things when everyone was actually forced to pick just 2, which is part of the strategic planning process. Everyone here is going to be doing as well. And then 1 thing to maintain, 1 thing that's going well and we have to make sure to leave alone. The biggest things that came out of that were the special events and public safety. As you can see, we have 16 that said the special events, 10 that says public safety. Those were far and above some of the things that came out. And that, now I am done. But I think I whipped through that pretty well.
Quick.
Do you have any questions for me? So again, you will be getting some more detailed information. Those of you who love data, you are going to think I'm the best thing ever. Those of you who really kind of want to be able to get into something and hit the highlights, this is going to be where you're going to want to go. Thank you again for having me tonight, and I look forward to working with you in the future. Thank you.
Thank you. Thank you. Thanks for coming. Okay, moving right on. That's all I have. I will pass it over to our village clerk.
Great, thank you, Mayor. Just some dates for the village offices will be closed, January 19th and February 16th, and garbage pickup will not be affected by that. Exciting event, Westmont Restaurant Week. The Westmont Chamber will be hosting Restaurant Week, which will run from February 21st to March 1st. So residents, non-residents, foodies, non-foodies, come support your local restaurants. That's all I have.
Thank you. Trustee Johanna Guzzo.
Thank you, Mr. Mayor. Fire Public Safety Committee meetings for 2026 are on Thursdays, 4:30 here at Village Hall, March 5th, May 28th, July 23rd, and November 12th. Everyone is invited to attend. In addition, keep the wreath red. Thank you to everyone in Westmont. There were no reported fires this season due to holiday decorations. So I just want to say thank you very much. We kept the wreath red. Wonderful. And then 2026 CPR classes. The Westmont Fire Department will be offering CPR classes. For more information, visit the village website. That's all I have, Mayor.
Thank you. Trustee Matt Scales.
Thank you, Mayor. Community Development Committee updates. 2026 dates, January 22nd at 4:30 p.m. is the next meeting that will include the department's annual report, followed by meetings on April 16th, July 9th, and September 17th. The comprehensive plan proposals for the update to the plan are being received until January 23rd at 4 p.m. Once proposals are reviewed, interviews will be scheduled with an anticipated contract award in early April. Planning and zoning meetings, the next regularly scheduled meeting will be on January 14th at 6 p.m. with a recently added special meeting to be held following that on February 4th at 6 p.m. And that is it.
Thank you, sir. Trustee Gina Perilli.
Thank you, Mayor. For Public Works, the meetings for this year are March 19th, June 11th, August 20th, and December 10th here in this room at 4:30. And one special thing for a reminder for everyone is water rate update. So just a reminder, previously approved annual water rate adjustments went into effect this month. Please check the website for more details, and the updated rates will be reflected on this upcoming billing cycle.
All right, thank you. Trustee Bob Plowman.
Thank you, Mayor. Police and Public Safety Committee, the next meetings for 2026 are February 5th, May 14th, August 6th, and October 1st, right here at 4:30. See it and report. Westmont Police and Fire would like to remind residents to never hesitate to call 911 if they feel an emergency is taking place. More information on this is available on the village website. New hires. The Fire and Police Commission is scheduled to continue the interview process this coming Saturday with the goal of reaching full staffing. This follows the start of the Police Academy for 3 new officers on January 2nd of 2026. Sharps disposal program. A reminder that sharps can be disposed of at the police station, 500 North Cass Avenue. All sharps must be properly contained in a biohazard container before being dropped off. And also, just one thing, the Lions is celebrating their 90th year. Westmont Lions Club was established in 1936. We're doing some research on it. What I found interesting is the secretary of the first Westmont Lions Club is actually C.E. Miller, who our school, Miller School, is named after. So I thought that was kind of interesting. But we're throwing pictures, we're throwing a lot of history together. The community is invited. It's at the Hilton in Oak Brook, Westmont, and it's at 6 p.m. It's $50. As I said, the whole village is invited. It's 2 drinks with that $50. You can go on and register at westmontlionsfoundation.org. And thank you to all the sponsors. We got quite a few baskets and money for sponsorship for this event as well. So thank you very much. And that's all I have, Mayor.
Thank you. Trustee Little.
Thank you, Mayor. The Administration Finance Committee meeting met today at 4:30 right here in Village Hall. What we did was we spoke about the Park District request for an additional $50,000 to assist paying for a new digital sign to be placed on 63rd Street across the street from Mariano's on Park District land. We also talked or received an overview of the Communications Department on how to get the word out, an edict from Mayor Nero, and whose responsibility, especially on social media, getting it out to everybody as fast as possible, correctly. Stormwater review, the Public Works wanted to make changes to the ordinances to make it easier on developers and business owners. Personnel code amendments affecting part-time firefighters and police officers. And then a TIF status update, impact to the schools, explanation of a TIF, why we have them, how we use them, what we use the funding for, and so on. The next item that we have is the Park District Winter Beer Fest. Westmont Park District will hold its annual beer fest on Saturday, February 14th, Valentine's Day. So get your tickets for your date. From 2 to 6 at Ty Warner Park in Westmont. Tickets can be purchased through the Westmont Park District website. We have a new event, the Pet Palooza event. We're working on setting up the first annual Pet Palooza to be held in May, probably about mid-May. Look for details to be shared soon. The PR department for this program will include a Pet of the Week featuring Westmont Special Events website and social media, and we are going to ask Mayor Nero if we can feature his dog Louie to be the first one of the first next week. Information will be posted on the westmontevents.com. We will change up our pets weekly, so anybody that has pets, especially the board, is requested to send your pictures to westmontevents.com, and we will start processing those regularly. We have a new part-time HR coordinator. We're pleased to welcome Sarah Lawson to the team as our new part-time HR coordinator. She'll be supporting our recruitment efforts and assisting with personnel data changes and other administration tasks. The next Administration Finance Committee meetings will be held on February the 19th, June the 25th, and September the 3rd. That's all I have, Mayor. Thank you.
Thank you. It's about time Louis gets to work, so he's in. Trustee Barker is absent tonight. I will highlight a couple things that I know are important and timely. Holiday lights recycling. Bins will be in place until January 31st. They're located at the library and fire headquarters for residents to drop off unwanted or broken holiday lights to be recycled. And Christmas tree pickup. Flood Brothers will be picking up Christmas trees from December 29th through January 30th. Trees must be free of decorations, tinsel, and lights. Please see the news release for more information. And that is all I have there. So we will move right into the consent agenda. Are there any items to be removed from the consent agenda? Hearing none. Manager Gunther, have at it.
Thank you, Mayor. For tonight's consent agenda, item A is Village Board minutes. Board to consider approving the minutes of the Village Board meeting held December 11th, 2025. Item B, Finance Ordinance number 26 in the amount of $2,474,877.48. Item C, we have one purchase order for Curry Motors in the amount of $45,509. This is for a 2026 Ford Utility for the Police Department. Item D, total purchase order and finance ordinance number 26 in the amount of $2,520,386.48. That concludes the consent agenda.
Thank you, sir. Do I have a motion to approve?
Motion to approve, Little.
Second, Scales.
Any questions? Roll call, please.
Trustee Little?
Yes.
Trustee Scales?
Yes.
Trustee Guzzo?
Yes.
Trustee Pirelli?
Yes.
Trustee Plowman?
Yes.
Okay, motion passes. We're going to move right into unfinished business. 8A is special use permit request. Tobacco and vape retail store at 101 West Ogden Avenue, Suite B. And I will ask Director Hennerfine to take us through it. You need me to read?
Yeah, read the first one.
I'm going to read the first one. Okay, board to consider a motion to reconsider the denial of a zoning ordinance special use permit request from JARE Enterprises LLC, DBA Lit Smokes and WL Property Acquisitions LLC for the property at 101 West Ogden Avenue, Suite B in Westmont for a tobacco and vape retail store in the B2 General Business District. Director Hennepin.
Thank you, Mr. Mayor. I believe the attorney is going to lead in with this one for me.
Yeah, for this one, it's just the motion to reconsider, so need a motion, a second. If you want to make any comments or debate about the motion, it should be limited to the merits of reconsideration, not the underlying special use request or how the user intends to operate the property. If the motion to reconsider is approved, then the next item is to reconsider the special use request, and that's when you can have the petitioner come up, hear from Joe, etc.
Fair enough. So do we have a motion to reconsider?
Motion Scales.
Second Plowman.
Any questions, comments? Roll call, please.
Trustee Scales?
Yes.
Trustee Plowman?
Yes.
Trustee Guzzo?
Yes.
Trustee Little?
Yes.
Trustee Perrelli?
Yes.
Okay, motion passes. We'll go right into 2. Board and consider an ordinance approving the above referenced zoning ordinance special use permit. Director Hennerbine.
Thank you, Mr. Mayor. So I'm not going to repeat everything that I said at the last meeting, but I can absolutely delve into it. So what we have here is 101 West Ogden, the smaller suite that's there next to the cannabis retailer. This is for a smoke and vape retail store. In our zoning ordinance, that is required to be a special use. This was heard by the Planning and Zoning in November. We heard it here for the first time, I think, on December 11th. The petitioner had an emergency and could not attend. I tried to answer as many questions as I could, but it sounds like there were a lot of questions specifically revolving around the use and the drive-through. Now, the petitioner did include a letter with their request to be reconsidered. They have acknowledged that if the requirement or request is to not use the drive-through, that they're willing to consider that, and we can always bring them up and when we question them. The requirement wouldn't necessarily be to remove the structure, but not use the window that's there. Because I do believe that the petitioner does have a building that is built for a drive-through. Uses can come and go over time. They don't want to necessarily have to remove that from the building itself. But I can answer any specific questions that, since I didn't really cover all of the discussion, or we can go ahead and invite the petitioners up if you'd like.
Joe, if it's okay, I was just going to ask for a motion to consider the ordinance approving the above referenced zoning ordinance special use permit, just to get it opened up. So
It's not to consider it, it would actually be a motion to approve it.
Motion to approve. Do we have a motion to approve?
So move Guzzo.
Second Plowman.
Okay, now questions and.
Okay, would we like to invite them up?
Please.
Good evening, Mayor and Village Board. How are you guys today? I am ready for your questions, so.
Question, how are you going to make sure that that drive-through window is not used if this is approved tonight?
Yeah, we have installed a shutter there, a security shutter that can be closed at all times and locked, so that's what we can do on that drive-through.
Is there going to be any kind of signage saying, hey, this is not in use, you need to come into the facility? Or?
Yes, we can add signage to that, just to park and come into the store.
Thank you.
I have a couple quick questions, and thank you guys for coming back in. I
appreciate it.
understand somebody was sick before.
Yeah, that was me. I'm sorry about that.
Feeling better,
Yeah. Oh, yeah.
We do appreciate it, and glad that you guys are in business here in town too. So thank you for coming to Westmont. I have a couple of questions on just in general, and some of it's a little historical. So originally, and I think I was on the Planning and Zoning Commission when you guys first came in, you had a bakery that was planned for there. Can you talk about why that was denied, or by that? I understand it was the health department, I think, with the county.
Yeah, it was the DuPage Health County. They wouldn't approve consumption of hemp derived baked goods on site, so they denied that, and that business is pretty much off that hemp derived infused baked goods or drinks. So once they denied that, we forego that location and didn't open it as a bakery.
Was that a separate user that was going to operate that and pay rent in that space, or was that all part of the same
It was a separate user. They were going to pay rent. We were involved in that, but yeah, it didn't work out.
Obviously, yeah, which is unfortunate.
I know I mean, we have the same use in our Burbank location. It's awesome. It correlates together with the dispensary, but I mean, unfortunately, it didn't work out.
Certainly, and there's hemp-derived products in shelves in stores right now. So it's,
They're all they're starting to become in Walgreens and start becoming all these Jewels and. But it is what it is. We try fighting for it, but they don't want to approve it.
Right.
Yeah.
How about with the space currently? Did you? Because I do agree with what was said earlier by Director Hinterfine with regards to the drive-through window being certainly a value add to that space, and I would think people on Ogden having the attractiveness of Ogden visibility and traffic counts would be positive. Did you guys talk to any other potential tenants that might want to occupy that space?
We didn't. I thought we thought that a vape and tobacco shop goes well next to our dispensary. We can also carry more accessories like glass and different accessories for the dispensary that we don't have the space for in the dispensary. So I thought it would be a perfect space for it. It's 700 square feet, so it's very hard to work around any kind of other use in the current moment. So I think a vape and tobacco shop will go hand to hand with just glass, rolling paper, vapes. A lot of this is the same use. So people will come hand to hand with that.
When that was built out prior to the county denying the application of the permit, was that built out with any kitchen equipment or anything like that?
Yeah, but, nothing that was mandated. I mean, nothing that was like put into the ground or anything like that. There was just an oven that can be removed, a sink, just a 3-compartment sink that can be removed. So nothing really there that has to be a restaurant or has to be any kind of bakery or anything like that. So
no black iron or ventilation systems? Or
no.
So as far as the bakery and the dispensary, I know, is it my understanding those were two different stores, correct?
Correct.
Now, would the vape shop be run independently of the dispensary?
Yes, it'd be two different
Whole new
businesses.
set of employees?
Yes, correct.
Two different teams?
Yep.
Are your sales associates trained to watch for age restrictions and make sure that everybody's identified properly?
Is this regarding the tobacco stop?
The vape shop?
Oh yeah, absolutely. Also, we have the program is on the POS system, so anything that's rung up tobacco use, they have to do a verification of ID.
Okay. Thank you.
Mm-hmm.
Do you guys operate any other vape stores besides this potential one?
We don't, but we actually carry the same products in our bakery in Burbank. So we have vapes there. We have accessories. So it's very similar.
What's the name of the location in Burbank?
It's Lit Bakery.
Lit Bakery.
Yeah.
So I'm sorry. So is it a county-based thing? So are you saying DuPage didn't, but is it Cook that did, or that allowed?
Yeah, it's actually we have Stickney Township over there. They approved the bakery there in Burbank. DuPage County wouldn't accept the use.
Yeah. Cook County allows the local jurisdictions to operate the health department, so county does nothing to do with it there.
No, we spent all that money, but it is what it is.
Any other comments, questions? We got a motion and a second, so if we don't have anything, we'll go into roll call. Roll call, please.
Okay, Trustee Guzzo?
Yes.
Trustee Plowman?
Yes.
Trustee Little?
Yes.
Trustee Pirelli?
No.
Trustee Scales?
Is this a vote on the actual use improvement?
Yes, the special use.
Approval. I'm a no on this one.
So the mayor has to vote because we don't have a majority of the trustees who hold office. We have a trustee missing. There's only 3 positive votes, but it's not a majority of negative votes. So you need to vote to either create that majority or officially reject this.
Can I ask you a quick question?
Yeah.
And if it is a...
It's rejected. You can either postpone it, so you have a full board.
Looks good, though.
Or you can vote.
That's the Lit Cafe. You know, I think this is a tough one for me, honestly. I think it might be in the best interest of the petitioner to postpone it until the full board could be here. I don't think it's fair for me to create an opportunity where it's going to be an even split if I were to vote my conscience on this. And I think with Trustee Barker not being here, it's an unfair advantage. And I think as long as the board approves, we have to have a motion to postpone it, then I would imagine.
Correct. And I just point out to the petitioner and the public, the mayor doesn't usually vote on matters. It's only when there's a tie or when a statute says the mayor has to vote or when his vote is needed to create a majority one way or the other. Here we have a 3-2 vote in favor, but it's not the minimum 4 votes needed. And the mayor thinks it might be in the best interest both of the village and the petitioner to have a full board who can vote rather than him cast the deciding vote. So if there's a motion on the table, but if someone makes a motion to reconsider, that takes precedent over the pending motion. And so if there's a motion to postpone until the next meeting and that gets voted on and approved, then it'll get postponed. If that gets denied, then the mayor will have to cast his vote.
And I'll do it then. Yeah, and Trustee Barker had a family emergency, so I know this is important to him. He had some pretty impactful comments last time, so I think it's only fair. Given the way that the vote is right now, I'd be more comfortable voting at the next meeting once the full board is here.
So does somebody need to make a motion to
I think so,
postpone? I would make a motion to postpone.
Mr. Mayor, I just checked with the petitioner. They said they are available in 2 weeks.
Perfect.
So.
And we heard all the updates, so I mean, I don't, unless Trustee Barker has questions, maybe it's not even required for them to come, but.
And that motion to postpone would be until the January 22nd, 2026 village board meeting, right? That's the next one, I believe? Okay.
I think that's fair.
Then we need a second and a vote.
Oh, second.
Oh, go ahead.
Second Pirelli.
All right, roll call one more time.
Trustee Scales.
Yes.
Trustee Pirelli.
Yes.
Trustee Plowman.
Yes.
Trustee Guzzo.
Yes.
Trustee Little.
Yes.
Okay, motion passes. We'll avoid number 3 here, and we will pick this up in 2 weeks with the full team present, okay?
Yeah, and just to clarify, item 3 on the agenda is for increasing the number of available tobacco licenses, but that can be removed administratively by the mayor from the agenda for tonight because without the special use, you can't consider the tobacco license, but that will be on the next agenda as well.
Thank you, sir. Okay, number 3 is removed. We will move into number 9A, Downtown Incentive Grant, 33 North Cass. Board to consider an ordinance awarding a Downtown Incentive Program DIP grant to John and Kimberly Hagedorn to make facade improvements to the building at 33 North Cass Avenue, along with the following waivers from the DIP guidelines and requirements. A, waiver to allow a DIP grant where construction of the improvements has already commenced. B, waiver to allow a 10% increase in eligible funding for this Tier 2 grant. And C, waiver of a 3-year waiting period for future DIP grant requests. Director Hennepeim.
Thank you, Mr. Mayor. Thank you, Board. So this is a DIP grant request. Actually, it's the last one from last year's money. So 33 North Cass Avenue. Everyone should know that building. This is the building that in August got hit by a car. Did some significant damage to this building and the buildings on either side of it as well. Pretty much resulted in the full deconstruction of the front facade of this building. So it affected both the property owner and the business that's operated out of there, Uncle John's Music. The DIP program was not designed to assist in emergencies that are covered by insurance typically. So we tried to work with the petitioner, the applicant, as best as we could to offer assistance with an existing program that we had. So any of the money that's being requested is additional out-of-pocket that the building owner, Mr. Hagedorn, John and Kim are here, is taking on behalf of, well, if I'm going to be putting money into this building, I don't want bare minimum stuff. So the three things that they're asking for, number one, the whole brick facade had to be taken down and will be rebuilt. Obviously, the insurance wants a lesser quality brick. They've picked a much nicer brick that has kind of an iridescent sheen to it, kind of meets the kind of 50s-ish look of the facade, but it is a $20,000 additional investment. Secondly, the windows on the second floor, which are old and residential in their construction, are going to look pretty sad once a new brick facade is built up around them. So they want to do some nice commercial windows that actually match the new facade. That's an additional close to $30,000 for those windows. And then they're going to add some lighting to the front of the building. That's gooseneck lighting that'll shine down. We've asked that it meet the dark sky color preferences of 300,000 degrees, which is kind of that's the warm light versus the bright white light. So it's more of a yellow light. It will cast down. We don't require dark sky, but we ask that it be within the tenets of the dark sky intent that we have there. And that's a little over $7,000. So there's more out of pocket that is not eligible. But of the eligible activities that we could fund, that is almost $56,000. Because of the incentives that we offer, we can award a 50% grant match, which would be $27,997.11. However, there are some waivers to the parameters of the DIP grant program for us to do this award. Number one, we typically don't consider a DIP in advance of the project. Obviously, this project has started already. Now, none of the things that are being asked for reimbursement have started yet, but formally the project has started, and that was kind of out of their control because of the emergency nature. The building was close to falling down. I mean, a lot of the structural elements needed to get addressed very quickly. There is also a request for frequency of applications, and this was actually a recommendation by staff. Right now, the way the grant program is written, it says, once you get money from us, really you shouldn't come back for 3 years. Now, we did write it in a flexible method so that the board can consider stuff in less than 3 years, but we said, why don't you ask for that now, so that if something happens or you decide you want to make more investment, we don't penalize you for 3 years for asking for this money. And then the third is they have asked for a little more money. So that match that we've said they're eligible for is 50%. They did ask for an extra 10%, which would be $33,596.53. And that comes out of the they were not prepared to do this project. This project was kind of forced on them. They're still trying to do the right thing by making the additional investment in the building. There is funding still left in this past year's budget. When we get to the DIP stuff later tonight, I'll talk about that briefly, about the money that was left. And they are here, so we can ask them any questions that we want. And that is the request that's before us.
Thank you. Do I have a motion to approve?
Motion to approve
Approve,
Guzzo.
Little?
Second Guzzo.
Okay. Comments, questions? Maybe we could go right into roll call unless you want to invite them up to share anything.
John, would you like to come up? He already warned me he's not a great public speaker.
That's okay. Yeah, we can go right
No,
to it. We want to help.
I actually said none of us are great public speakers, so.
Since you were here, we wanted to offer it, that's all.
Thank you for considering all this, but it was a crazy August night when the police called me at midnight and said, oh, a car ran into your building. I'm like, well,
yeah,
I'll go tomorrow morning, let me know what happens. And then she said, no, you really better get here tonight. Yeah. And when I pulled up, everything was blocked off. There was more lights I've ever seen in my life. So anyway, I got to talk to everyone from the fire department, the police department, and all that. So, but really, we're trying to get that fixed up as soon as we can. It's difficult because it was really demolished and we're putting in steel beams now. There's a lot more to it than just putting a few 2x4s. And I don't know if you ever dealt with insurance. It's like, what I thought was like, oh, you know, you got the insurance, they're gonna take care of everything. It's like fighting back and forth. And I wrote a list of how much they've paid so far and how much money has come out of my pocket. You could see the numbers are not small. It's incredible, actually. I never thought it'd be that much, but moving forward, we're still fighting. The contractor's here, but he's like, these papers come in, they're like, I can't read them. They're insurance stuff, and it's for people who do that every day. But they go through every little line, and they're like, nope, you can't get this like little thing. And it's like, actually, the fire system was destroyed, and now we need to put extra ones in because of the fire department. So insurance is like, well, you know, we put it the way it was. It's not the way it could be. And so anyway, it's just like, just brutal. So anyway, I appreciate you, whatever you guys can do. And well, hopefully we'll get that up and running soon. That's all.
Fair enough. Well, thanks for coming. We appreciate it.
Okay, thanks.
Okay, roll call, please.
Trustee Little?
Yes.
Trustee Guzzo?
Yes.
Trustee Pirelli?
Yes.
Trustee Plowman?
Yes.
Trustee Scales?
Yes.
Motion passes.
Okay. Thank you, everyone.
Yep, thank you. Good luck cleaning it up and getting it back open. Okay, moving right on to B, award of a bid proposal for Park Chicago and Willard water main improvements. Board to consider an ordinance awarding the bid to Miller Pipeline LLC for the Park Chicago Willard water main improvements projects and authorizing a construction contract consistent with the bid documents. Director Reese.
This is for water main improvements on Park Chicago and Willard, and this is Park from Naperville Road to Ogden, and then the Willard and Chicago east-west roadways in that same neighborhood. We got bids from 16 contractors, so it's like most I've ever seen ever in any bid, 26 years of my professional career. The low bid was from Miller Pipeline, and their low bid was $2,960,385, which was 10% lower than the engineer's estimate. The bids were tightly clustered, so there was only, between the low bidder and the second low bidder, there was only about $38,000, and the bids were all very close together, so we believe that all the bids were sound. We've worked with this contractor in the past, and the work was satisfactory. So this water main project will be constructed during the spring and summer of 2026, and staff recommends approval. Any questions?
Do I have a motion to approve?
Motion, Scales.
Second Little?
Any other comments, questions? Roll call, please.
Trustee Scales?
Yes.
Trustee Little?
Yes.
Trustee Guzzo?
Yes.
Trustee Pirelli?
Yes.
Trustee Plowman?
Yes.
Motion passes. Okay, and moving on to C, engineering service agreement, construction engineering for the Park Chicago Willard Water Main Improvements Project. Board to consider an ordinance authorizing an engineering service agreement with Baxter and Woodman for Phase 3 construction engineering services for the Park Chicago and Willard Water Main Improvements Project. Director Reese.
This is a request to approve $250,690 for Phase 3 construction engineering services. This will include construction administration, shop drawing review, field inspection, documentation, measurements, coordination with the residents, so all the typical stuff that happens during construction.
Do I have a motion to approve?
Motion, Scales.
Second.
Any questions? Hearing none, roll call, please.
Trustee Scales?
Yes.
Trustee Plowman?
Yes.
Trustee Guzzo?
Yes.
Trustee Little?
Yes.
Trustee Pirelli?
Yes.
All right, motion passes. Moving on, D, award a cooperative procurement for 328 South Wilmette new cold storage building. Board to consider an ordinance approving the purchase and construction of a public works storage building and foundation for 328 South Wilmette pursuant to a co-op procurement program authorized and administered by the state of Illinois. Director Reese.
So our old site at 328 South Wilmette, previously the street division had operated out of there. There was a building there that was demolished when the new public works facility was constructed. After that building was demolished, the village then began planning to repurpose the site. So we looked at a salt dome on that site, additional larger storage building, and eventually a new water tower to replace the existing water tower. The construction of the larger storage building is now being accelerated because it will be serving as temporary quarters for the fire department when the new fire station is being constructed. And this is to avoid costly rentals for quarters for the ambulance and engine that will be in this location. They needed to have a presence south of the train tracks. You heard in the strategic plan about the train tracks kind of bisecting town. So they couldn't move all their operations to the other fire station. They had to maintain that presence to provide service on the south side of the train tracks. So we identified a cooperative contract through Sourcewell for a clear span structure. It will be approximately 70 by 125 feet in size, and the concrete foundation corresponding to it for a cost not to exceed $738,014.14. So the labor for the construction of the building and foundation will be at prevailing wage. The construction will begin in May, weather permitting, and be complete in late summer. And just something also to note, that there are additional site improvements that will be performed, including earth excavation, grading, underground utilities, electric, paving, and fencing that will be procured as a separate construction contract. So the total cost for all these site improvements, inclusive of the building and site improvements, is $1.5 million, which is what's in the budget. So we're well on our way to coming in on budget for this whole holistic site improvement.
Thank you.
Questions?
Do I have a motion to approve?
Motion to approve, Little?
Second, Scales.
Any questions, comments? Roll call, please.
Trustee Little?
Yes.
Trustee Scales?
Yes.
Trustee Guzzo?
Yes.
Trustee Pirelli?
Yes.
Trustee Plotman?
Yes.
Motion passes, all right. Moving on, E, Code of Ordinance Revision, Stormwater Management. Board to consider an ordinance amending Chapter 34 of the Westmont Code of Ordinances to add local amendments to the DuPage County Countywide Stormwater and Floodplain Ordinance regarding stormwater management, and I will ask it back to Director Reese.
All right, so you heard a short presentation earlier tonight from our village engineer about this matter, about the nature of some of the revisions that are being requested. So we reviewed these and we provide these recommendations to streamline and modernize the stormwater regulations to better serve the needs of our residents. Christopher Burke, engineering, assisted us in this review and provided recommendations as well. So the village code will be amended to align with the local amendments proposed to the county stormwater ordinance, and the parts of the village code will be amended to reflect those changes.
Thank you. Do I have a motion to approve?
Motion to approve, Plowman?
Second, Guzzo.
Any questions, comments? Roll call, please.
Trustee Plowman?
Yes.
Trustee Guzzo?
Yes.
Trustee Little?
Yes.
Trustee Pirelli?
Yes.
Trustee Scales?
Yes.
Motion passes.
Thank you.
Thank you. Moving on to the next one. Personnel Code Text Amendments. Board to consider an ordinance approving multiple text amendments to Chapter 62, Personnel of the Westmont Code and Ordinances. And I will ask our HR Director to please walk us through it.
Thank you. Good evening, everyone. As mentioned at tonight's Administration and Finance Committee meeting, we had some recent amendments made to the Personnel Code to comply with some legislative changes, as well as to incorporate some administrative updates. And staff is seeking Village Board approval to incorporate those amendments into the Code of Ordinances.
Thank you. Do I have a motion to approve?
Motion to approve, Little?
Second, Plowman?
Any questions or comments? Roll call, please.
Trustee Little?
Yes.
Trustee Plowman?
Yes.
Trustee Guzzo?
Yes.
Trustee Pirelli?
Yes.
Trustee Scales?
Yes.
Motion passes. Thank you. Okay, up next, G, Downtown Incentive Program Fiscal Year 2026 Annual Budget and Activity Targets. Board to consider an ordinance adopting the fiscal year 2026 Downtown Incentive Program Annual Budget and Activity Targets. Director Hennefein.
Thank you, Mr. Mayor. Thank you, Board. So basically, every year, I've got several new faces this year, so I'm going to go over a little bit extra. Every year in the DIP program, which is the Downtown Incentive Program, we have the ability, the board has the ability to set the program parameters. So basically, there was a framework that was established. You can change, make targets, you can take things off the table, basically tailor it to whatever the specific market conditions or what our current goals are. So this year, we are first opening up all 3 tiers. So there's 3 levels of grants. The first level is it's a minimum $5,000 project. We can grant up to $20,000. That's the small grants. Then there's medium ones. If it's a $25,000 or more project, grants can go up to $50,000. And tier 3, it's a minimum $50,000 project. Grants can go up to $100,000. So just as an example, we had a local business owner talk about her parking lot and the ability that she wanted to look at paving it. She said that would cost her $250,000. Now, she did indicate it would cost less with the stormwater ordinance changes, but I grabbed her before she left and I said, you're in the TIF district, you're eligible for DIP funds. Sounds like you'd be eligible for a tier 3 grant. And that could be up to $100,000 for a project like that. Obviously, we have calculation methods, we have match percentages that we work with, but she was very excited to find out that she could be eligible for
It pays to come to board meetings, right?
Yes. One of the things that we are perpetuating, so for the last 2 years, we have focused on fire life safety. In particular, the water line in our downtown is on the west side of Cass Avenue. Anyone on the east side of Cass Avenue has a lot of additional cost to put sprinklers in their buildings. So we will match the fire life safety inside the building for those on the east side of Cass at a 50% rate, and the water line to get across Cass at a 75% rate. Doesn't mean that the people on the west side of Cass still can't get money. It's just they don't get the additional incentive, which we've actually found that it's worked really well for us. I believe we had 3 buildings in the past year that have taken advantage of this. So we're getting a lot more of our existing buildings in the downtown sprinkled. Now, last year in review, we started with $250,000. We granted about $142,000. Everyone should pat themselves on the back for that. This year I was at the planning conference and I had other communities coming up to me and saying, really, your board is awarding these levels of grants? Like, our grants are $5,000 or $10,000 in our downtown. So we're doing something tremendous here. And it does come out of the TIF funds. About $107,000 remained unspent. So there still is, I think, a little trepidation in investing in people's properties in our downtown. We hope to turn that around now. So in this new budget, and what we're not approving tonight is the dollar amount that's in the budget. We've already done that, and that's $125,000 is in the new budget. We think that's very fair for what we lent out last year. I never turn anyone away. So we haven't had an experience where I've run out of money yet, but I'm under direction to never turn anyone away. Even if we've gone through the budget, bring the budget before the board so that the board can consider it and see if there's other funds that they can find, because we didn't want to close the door on anyone that's making or wants to make investment in their downtown properties. So the last piece of it is, because we didn't see a lot of people clamoring for the larger grants, we usually held them back for a few months to plan their projects so that we considered them all at the same time, so that if we couldn't fund all of them, we would fund the best of them. We didn't see that happen, so we are not going to place any restrictions. I will accept these applications from day one all the way through the end. Will not hold any of those back. So if you have any questions, I'm happy to answer this.
Thank you, Joe. Do I have a motion to approve?
Well, just a comment. I think it's kind of weird to be applauded for that, for the amount of grants, but yet we still have money left. So how are we communicating that out to our?
We have a very informative website. Every year I go and I do presentations with the Downtown Westmont Business Group. Kylie with the chamber has all the information to hand that out. And then a lot of it's word of mouth. Mm-hmm. And that's why we had a local business owner that's very involved. I would hope that she's heard of the program in the last few years, but a lot of our local business owners are very preoccupied with running their businesses. Yeah. So whenever we have the opportunity to say that there's funding there, we definitely still need to get that word out You heard about how hard it is to use social media, and everyone gets it in a different format. We always put, when the grants are available, we put that out. Usually mid-year, we also do it again. It's a match program, so you still need funds to invest.
Yeah.
And, I think that if it were just a straight out grant program, that maybe we'd have more, but this was designed so that we could create a greater impact to someone that's already willing to put the money forward to make an improvement in their property.
It's quite a return, though, to put the 5,000 and get that much back, so
Yes.
it's, yeah.
Yeah, great, agreed. Do we have a motion to approve?
Motion to approve Plowman?
Second Little?
Any other comments? Thank you, Joe, for all your efforts on this. I hope you're coming back soon, asking for some more funds, and there's people lining up to get some more grants. We'll
I
see.
want to hand it all out.
I know
I'd
you
rather
do.
be done,
You've been consistent with that. Roll call, please.
Trustee Plowman?
Yes.
Trustee Little?
Yes.
Trustee Guzzo?
Yes.
Trustee Pirelli?
Yes.
Trustee Scales?
Yes.
Motion passes. Thank you. Okay, moving right on. H, Ripple Fiber Illinois LLC license agreement. Board to consider an ordinance approving a master license agreement between Ripple Fiber Illinois LLC and the Village of Westmont to provide internet and phone services for residents and businesses. And I will ask our IT Director, Liljeburg.
Hi. This should be the third and last one that we're aware of that will come in front of the board right now. For fiber, it's the exact same agreement as the first two, so there's been no modifications between any of the three companies coming into town.
Thank you, sir. Do I have a motion to approve?
Motion Scales.
Second Little?
Any questions? Glenn, I got a question. When should we start expecting to see like some other services for residents? I know this is the third one, right?
Yeah, I think they're planning on offering services probably mid to later next year by the
Okay.
time they get services in place.
Cool. Okay, great. Roll call, please.
Trustee Scales?
Yes.
Trustee Little?
Yes.
Trustee Guzzo?
Yes.
Trustee Pirelli?
Yes.
Trustee Plowman?
Yes.
Motion passes. Thank you. Moving right on to I, Uncommon X Security Agreement. Board to consider an ordinance approving a 3-year agreement with Uncommon X for SOC Security Operations Center services for the Village of Westmont. Director Liljeburg.
So this is just a formalization of the agreement for the services. It's already been budget approved, and the purchase order was board approved at the last meeting. We're just following up with the agreement approval at this meeting.
Do I have a motion to approve?
Motion to approve Little?
Second Scales.
Any questions, comments? Roll call, please.
Trustee Little?
Yes.
Trustee Scales?
Yes.
Trustee Guzzo?
Yes.
Trustee Pirelli?
Yes.
Trustee Plowman?
Yes.
Motion passes. Thank you. Okay, moving on. Any miscellaneous? Hearing none, I do not have a request for executive session, so I'll entertain a motion to adjourn.
Motion to adjourn Little?
Second Scales.
Roll call, please.
Trustee Little?
Yes.
Trustee Scales?
Yes.
Trustee Guzzo?
Yes.
Trustee Pirelli?
Yes.
Trustee Plowman?
Yes.
All right, this meeting is adjourned. Have a great night.